lovely humans, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jamie Wolfer. I'm your online wedding planner, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some TikTok hot takes. But before we launch into the video, jump on down there and hit subscribe, because at least once a month, we're pumping out these TikTok reaction videos that y'all seem to be going feral for. I don't understand, but I'm not mad about it. Let's get on down there, hit that subscribe button, and let's see what the team sent me. Ready, set, go.
So I'm gonna let y'all in on a little wedding secret real quick. So this is one of the things that we recently added to our budget that I feel like a lot of brides forget when it comes to mapping out your wedding budget. So one of the things that we recently added was a paramedic on standby.
A what? I'm sorry. Where is your event taking place? Coachella? I mean, there's another 30 seconds of this video, so I'm assuming there's going to be more to this. But you should not need a paramedic at your wedding. Just as a standard.
I'm finna take everybody breath away.
Listen, this is 2025 bridal energy, okay? And if it's not it, I don't want it.
I'm finna look so freaking good.
Yes, you are.
My mother. And then part two, on a more serious note,
serious.
I'm also gonna make sure that everybody signs a liability waiver because I'm not responsible for if you fall and bump your head. Okay.
I love her. All right, Devana, I love everything about your energy, but I do have to burst your bubble on this one teensy little thing, okay? It's super minor, super minor. Do not have your guests sign a waiver, okay? You don't need to have them sign a liability waiver. You need something called event insurance, or wedding event insurance, or some sort of amalgamation of those three words together, event wedding insurance. My personal favorite is Brightco. They're the only event insurance company that I've ever seen that covers things like the Rona, which means if you or someone else close to you gets it, you're covered in case you need to move your event. You know, like if the groom gets it and can't really be there for his big day, then you have that covered with Brightco, and their lowest packages start at $120. They also have cancellation insurance, and one of the cancellation insurance options that they have is cancel for any reason. This is called limited liability insurance. This is full coverage for your entire event starting at like $120. This is not sponsored. I just love them so much. They have the most unique features out of every single insurance company I've ever dealt with when it comes to events. I love them. They keep it super easy, super streamlined. So in a situation like this, don't make your guests feel uncomfortable by having them sign a waiver. Just pay $120 and then you'll be covered. And no one wants to think about like the drastically bad things happening or falling and bumping their heads. Like no one wants to think about that, right? But this is peace of mind coverage. So instead of having that awkward moment of making sure everyone's turning in their field trip slip, their liability and waiver to join your event, instead just make sure you and your fiance are covered, okay? And then it just kind of protects you and adds coverage in case someone gets a little knock in the noggin. But I'll tell you one thing right now, I need more Devana in my life. Okay, next. This is 3 things I'm not doing at my wedding as a wedding photographer. Ooh, okay. I do particularly enjoy vendor hot takes because I always feel like we see things that other people don't see. And so when we give hot takes, we oftentimes can add a little element of education when we do posts like this. This is why I do posts like this. Not only because they're super fun, but also ideally educational.
3 things I am not doing at my wedding as a wedding photographer. So 1, I will not be doing a bouquet toss or a garter toss. I think just the idea of my future husband crawling up my dress to get a garter is just like the raunchiest thing. And so I just don't want to do that.
Okay, quick hot tip. Maybe don't say stuff like that on the internet in case your clients, past, present, and or future, do a garter toss. I don't know if you don't have to like it, okay? You can go all ragey in the comments down below whether you like it or not, but as just like a little business tip, don't call something raunchy, especially if your clients have done it in the past. Like that's a very strong word. You don't have to do it, and you're entitled to your opinion. You could totally share it on the internet, but so can I, and that's what I'm doing. Here we are. Don't say a part of the event is raunchy. Just use a different word. It makes me uncomfortable. It's not quite our style. I would prefer not to. To me, it just feels like I would rather not have it at our event. Not one of the raunchiest things. Shame on all y'all, my clients included, that did this.
2, I'm requesting that my guests wear all black. So I'm getting like ghost chairs for the ceremony. So you're going to be able to see through the chairs and see what guests are wearing. So I want all of my guests in all black. I just love the aesthetic of that and how like the bride and groom are the only ones in white. It's just the contrast of it looks amazing in photos.
No notes, totally fine. Ghost chairs, I mean, I wouldn't pick that as the reason. I don't know if y'all know what ghost chairs are. They're the plastic ones. They became super in vogue like probably 10-ish years ago. They're still really relatively expensive to rent, so you're not going to see them at a ton of events. So they haven't outlived their moment in the spotlight, even though they've been around for like a decade plus. So I still love them. I think they're great. They're not very comfortable, but they photograph chef's kiss beautifully. But you're not gonna be able to see, that's the logic of this, is like you're not gonna be able to see what all of your guests are wearing simply because they're in ghost chairs. You're gonna see the backs of anyone who's at the back, but you're not going to see anything really beyond that. What we're thinking is more like group photos, cocktail hour, reception. That's where a lot more of this is going to come through. But just for the sake of having ghost chairs, making everyone wear black, doesn't really connect as much for me, but she can use whatever excuse she wants. She can still ask her guests to wear black. I'm just explaining from that particular perspective, like what if everyone wore black tops and white pants? You couldn't tell because they're in the ghost chairs, right? So I guess it wouldn't matter as much. So it's maybe for reasons beyond just the ghost chairs. Also, are we wearing the same necklace? Are we the same person? No, we're both pretty basic because everyone has this. It's okay. It's so cute.
3, I'm not doing a plated dinner, like a seated dinner at all. I think a seated dinner is like the biggest buzzkill. It kind of stops the party and everybody's just like waiting around for the next events. So I want my guests immediately after the ceremony, they're going to go directly to the reception and allowed to eat right away. They do not have to wait on the bridal party. I want them to eat, grab a few cocktails, and kind of mix and mingle. Like I want people to chit chat with each other. I want people involved. I want people on the dance floor, things like that. So I want them eating and drinking as soon as they get there without waiting for us.
I don't think the dinner, like a seated dinner, is a buzzkill. Like this is literally what we do for a living. I don't find that to be a buzzkill. I find it to be a great way to allow your guests to sit and enjoy a meal and like converse, because they can still do that whether they're wandering around or dancing or whatever. Like they're not going to be dancing at the table, ideally not dancing at the table. But it does also follow the natural rhythm of the event overall, where it's like, yes, you have the ceremony, then you have a casual cocktail hour, then you have a dinner, and then the energy ramps up. We're not losing energy because we go through a sit-down dinner. There is no real big buzz beforehand unless you have a raucous cocktail hour, which isn't super common. In fact, most of the time, it's relatively mellow. People are enjoying their conversations. It's still like quite mid energy. It's not high energy yet. So it's not like we're killing the buzz by incorporating a sit-down dinner. I am a little curious to hear more on her thoughts on this. And luckily, we do have a follow-up because I'm just kind of confused by they're just going to eat and start dancing, like what that rhythm looks like overall. So let's take a look-see at this follow-up reply. It says, I love this. Could you elaborate on number 3? Such a great idea, but I'd love to know your timeline of making sure the bridal party has time to eat too. Samesies. Because it's sounding like we're going to do a cocktail hour style reception, but also I'm not quite sure what we're doing. Like, we are feeding them, I think. We're just not sitting down, I think. So clarify, please.
Yes, because this is the one that I'm most worried about for my wedding, just because I've never seen it done at somebody else's wedding before. So I'm just not sure the flow of things. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking since we want a cocktail style reception anyway, and we're not doing a plated dinner, it'll basically flow from cocktail into the party. So our cocktail hour will be like 2 hours. So basically the bridal party will come in. We'll give people enough time to get through the buffet, and then bridal party will come in for the grand entrance. And then we're going to go straight into some formalities just to get them out of the way and so we can enjoy ourselves and mix and mingle with everybody else. We're going to come right in and do cake cutting. Then we're going to do a margarita tower, and then we'll do some speeches while everybody's eating and drinking and just enjoying themselves and kind of gathered around us. Then after that, like I said, those formalities will probably take 10, 20 minutes tops. So then you'll be right into the party with everybody else. And that'll give you at least like max a full hour to eat, enjoy yourselves, and grab some cocktails and mix and mingle with everybody else before the partying starts.
A couple of notes on that. We're talking buffet. Buffet cocktail hour is going to be, it's going to have like a real, almost like clunky feeling to it. In my opinion. Now, you can have a place where food is served, but running people through like a buffet line, it's going to feel a little, I don't know. I don't love it. It could work, but I can't picture how this could work, but it could. My brain is just like short-circuiting on a buffet for cocktail reception. Never seen it. Probably can come across quite flawless. I don't know how. Secondary to that, Margarita Tower. Where's my invite? How do I get an invite? Also, secondly, don't make me work it because I don't want to clean that up. Champagne towers, definitely sticky. Margarita towers, might as well just pour glue all over the table, just all over it, just to make sure it's permanently like a dive bar, constantly sticky to the touch table from here on out. So love the concept, little concerned about the cleanup. But you won't be there, so that doesn't matter. That's on whoever allowed you to have a margarita tower. The biggest thing I take issue with this whole idea is that you'll come in, grand entrance, do the cake cutting and everything, have the toast, and that you think people will keep eating while you're doing this. They will not. Some people might, sure, but most people are probably not going to do that awkwardly in the middle of a sentence. I'm thirsty, okay? Most people are going to set their food down or stop eating while toasts are happening as a sign of respect. They're not going to keep scarfing their way through your toast. They're going to stop. They're going to make sure, that they're paying full attention, which I think is the appropriate thing to do. So as long as we kind of adjust those expectations and make sure people have enough time to eat. And then last and most importantly, make sure people know it's a cocktail style reception. So it's not going to be a plated meal that you're having. Totally fine. This can be a great cost savings idea. As long as you're really intentional on having really heavy hors d'oeuvres, really filling appetizers, then you should be pretty good. If all you have is a Costco spread of veggies and fruits, then you're probably going to see your party dwindle a lot more quickly than you want it to. I recommend maybe not doing a buffet, but maybe doing stations with different kinds of things, especially if you can't afford to have them passed, which tends to get a little bit more expensive because then you are also paying for a server crew to walk those around. Okay, so at least we got a little bit more clarity. I was like, you're just not gonna do it. You're just not gonna feed people. Like you're doing cocktail hour style. Okay, great. Okay, next video. This one says, POV, you got hitched in Vegas and didn't tell anyone until our wedding a year later. Wouldn't it be you got hitched and didn't tell anyone until your wedding? I'm not here for grammatical checks. It's fine. Okay, I don't see a huge problem with this, but let's figure out why I got sent this one.
Zane and Eric have already been secretly married. They discreetly tied the knot in Vegas on February 23rd, 2024.
Her face!
Where they shared their first dance while waiting.
She's hyperventilating. This one bridesmaid is losing it.
Little Ross and Rachel moment in all of its glory, with photos that mimic snapshots of a 2004 Matthew McConaughey rom-com.
Do you see it? Oh, this is a huge no. This angers me so very much. I'm going to give you a second to see if you see it. Freeze frame on the screen. Do you see it? Because if you go back to the beginning, 2 seconds in, look, beautiful. Look how glorious this is. You can see the flowers behind. I think it's a bar behind them, but the florals are serving. They're also probably so expensive. This floral install is expensive. Fast forward to 24 seconds in, we got a gaggle of dudes standing there, all black, not subtle at all. Looks like they are probably getting a champagne toast ready to go. We love that for them. Could we do it somewhere else? Anywhere else? We couldn't send one guy up discreetly to maybe get the champagne or, just start when the ceremony is over. We could just do that. I want to know who was running this event and who said, guess what, servers? Go ahead. They're in the middle of their ceremony and, filming it. But you would look great as a group collectively right there in all black. And they're just hanging out. I don't actually, now that I'm back at the beginning of the video, I see some glasses already out. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're doing a champagne toast or not. It does take a while to put those together, but this is very poor planning on somebody's behalf. Could be the venue, could be the catering staff, could be the wedding planner. For the love of all that's holy. Oh, we had an event before. Oh my gosh, this is one of these days I got to do a story time on some of my early events because this is before I knew things. And now I know things. We had this event out in 29 Palms, which of course, if you know. But it was at this glorious, very mid-century modern house. It was called the Wagon Wheel House, something like that. Stunning property. because it was far enough away from the military base. And where they were having the ceremony was in the front yard, absolutely gorgeous, had this like wall behind them, so it was great. It was actually the fencing that they were using as the backdrop for their event. So they're coming in from out of the house, looping around, and then there's a backdrop right here. Well, right here, sorry if you're listening to a podcast version of this. I don't even know, are we turning these in podcasts? Whatever, I have 2 of those, by the way. We got one for wedding planners, and then one for you guys to help you plan your weddings. It's called Engage with Jamie Wolfer. Find it anywhere where podcasts are played. Oh, and the other one is called the Union Podcast for wedding business professionals, because I can't stop talking. So back to the story. We got the gate right here, okay? And ceremony right here. The driveway coming out this way, okay? Coming out this way. And so with this event, I guess we're kind of doing a mini story time here anyways. The bride had procured a local restaurant to her in San Diego. 29 Palms is also in Southern California, although it's kind of like in the armpit of California. Because and they were supposed to be there at a certain time to do all of their prep work on site. That time came and went, called them up and said, hey, where are you? What's going on? They're like, hey, we're still in San Diego. Don't worry about it. We will do all of our prep here. We just had some issues with timing of sourcing some of our stuff. So we're just going to prep here and like show up and be ready to go. And I was like, okay, bet. Sounds great. Another hour goes by. Still not here. And now we're 2 hours. Still not here. 3, 4 hours. The ceremony is starting. Ceremony is set to begin. They were supposed to show up there before I was even there. And that's why I was like, what's going on? I got called by the bride ahead of time. So as I'm driving out there, I'm calling them, trying to figure out what's going on. It's a mess. Ceremony starts. I get a phone call. Guess who's rumbling down the driveway? They finally made it. They finally made it after being dishonest about their leaving time multiple times. They made it. And they weren't just dishonest about that. They actually hadn't done any of their prep work either. I was like this close to sending some of the groomsmen to the local Rouse to buy some steaks so we could start grilling stuff up. Dinner ended up being an hour and a half late on that one. But remember how I said the driveway was right here? And then there was the gate, and then there was the fence in front of which, and it was more like a wall, like a block wall kind of thing, that the couple was getting married. So we could see them. And they were really mad that I didn't open the doors to let them in so they could start bringing their equipment into the house. Because there was no way, again, this large block wall was over here. So the only way to get into the house was through that gate and through that door, unless they went, I think, a long way around the back, and they didn't want to do that. They didn't want, because they were late. And so they wanted to make sure they was getting snappy with it. But so they got snappy with me because I wouldn't let them come through the gate while this ceremony's happening right there. I will, if there is one thing I will do, I will fiercely protect my couple's event experience whenever I need to. I will not be vicious about it, but I will be firm. Listen, you are 4+ hours late. I understand that makes things really uncomfortable. I understand that you are eager to get going, but I'm not going to interrupt my client's ceremony so you and your gaggle of all black wearing companions are just shuffling right next to the ceremony space. You would have to walk by the ceremony. Yeah. Needless to say, I didn't recommend working with that caterer ever again. In fact, they're not caterers. They're a restaurant. And so this was a unique situation to them, which I get. It's new. It's stressful. But at least be honest with me. Like, hey, this morning's been a mess. We're going to be late. I'll be like, okay, bet. Let me know what I can do to support. You can say, hey, we've never done this before. I get it. That's totally fine. But don't keep lying about it. And then the sun set, and it was so dark that he was now getting mad at us for not having proper lights for him to be able to see to cook his food. And remember, this is a house. This is not like a normal venue. So we're running extension cords that we found in the house out to the cooking area where he was at, and bringing in lamps from inside to like light up his space because he didn't have any lamps or anything like that. This is also the wedding that this girl... I need to do story time. This is basically turning into one. Anyways, this girl kept following me around and was like, oh, you're a wedding planner? Are you a wedding planner? Oh, I plan weddings. Oh, you're doing that? Oh, interesting. I plan weddings. And I'm pretty sure that was her exact voice. I think I got it. And then proceeded to get blackout drunk and fell into a cactus. And I was the only one with tweezers. So I'm over there pulling the spines out of her leg. She's like, you're doing such a good job. You're doing so good. You're such a good planner. And then passed out in one of the bedrooms at the Airbnb. Actually, I think she passed out on a bench, and then someone moved her to the bedroom. And that's where the couple was staying that night. And that's when the father of the bride came up to me and said, what are you going to do about her? And I said, no. What are you going to do about her? And then the event was over, and I recruited some of the friends to just get her out. Okay, that's what we have for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you want some more story times, I got more where that came from. So many. It's mostly because it's before I knew things, right? But occasionally it's, just because of other people. If you haven't done so already, jump on down there, hit that like button, and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. And until next week, bye guys.